Be the second video. There's going to be a quick rundown on how to create branches, and we're going to be setting up your Kanban in this video as well. Cool. So from where we left off, we created our organization, we invited people, we created a repo. From the repo, we once again invited the people on who's going to be working on this, and we set up our branches. Cool. So now let's actually start creating our branches, and this is going to be the first way. So probably one of the quickest ways you can do them is directly from GitHub. So if you see right here in this little button area, you can see it says branch master. If you click on that, it says find or create a branch. Cool. So first thing you can do is find a branch, right? Look, see, finding a branch, or in our case, we want to create a branch. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Simply just start typing your branch name, and since there's no branch names currently available that have this name, GitHub automatically assumes that you're going to try to create a new one. Cool. So you can see right here it says create branch, search a branch from master, which is perfect what we want to be doing. So if we go ahead and click that, boom, automatically switches to branch. You can see up on top it also says branch created. So from here we can simply start navigating between branches. I can switch from master back to my branch, and yep, so forth. Cool. So now another way to do this is through Visual Studio Code. So I already went ahead and I cloned it. I cloned the repo to my local machine and opened it up in Visual Studio Code. So from here, if you want to create a branch in Visual Studio Code, you can see it on the lower left hand side. You have a little tab and it says master currently, because master is the current branch we are in. From here, this little drop down menu will come up and it gives us the option to actually create a branch from here. So let's go ahead and do that. Cool. So remember, I have my branch right now locally in GitHub, not on my machine. So let's go ahead and let's make Dave a branch, since he's one of my collaborators. Cool. Totally chill. Once you're done, just press enter, and you can see on the lower left hand corner we already switched over to our branch. Same thing as GitHub, I can switch from my master to Dave's branch and so forth. Now, one thing to note is even though I created my branch in GitHub, it's not on my machine like I just said earlier. So one thing we can do just to get that is just to do a pull. So I'm in my master branch, I opened up a terminal, git pull. Cool. And right here you can even see it shows us what's being updated. So when we pulled, we brought in my branch that I made in GitHub, and that should be the only change that's there. Cool. So remember how earlier it wasn't giving me the option to switch to my branch? Here we go, right away. Sergil's branch. So I could even switch over to my branch from there. And back to Dave's. And back to master. Cool. So now we see that, but if we check back on GitHub, you notice only my branches are there. My branch and master, not Dave's. So let's go ahead and let's try to push this up to GitHub. So I'm going to be adding an index.html and just going to make a plain page. Hello, Dave. Cool. Now from here, I like doing my Git in Visual Studio Code since I'm already here. So let me show you guys how to do this. So if you go down to this third tab on the left hand side, you see it says source control Git. So this is like a visual representation of Git bash. So right here it shows us all the changes we have made, which was when I created this index.html. Cool. So if I want to start adding these changes, I just click on this plus button, and cool, it goes from changes to stage changes. So that means it's being ready to get pushed up. And then just like when you do it through git bash, you do your git add, git commit, then you leave your message. You can leave your message right here, adding index.html. Cool, so now that I added my message and I've staged the changes I want to push up, I can go up to these three little dots up here and commit all. Boom, now you see that all my stage changes are gone. That means they're staged, they're committed, and they're ready to get pushed up into GitHub. So from here on out, I can just do git, again, top corner, three little dots, boom, push. And since there's no branch in GitHub, it's saying, would you like to publish this branch? And yes, I do. Cool. You can see a little line right here coming through. And once that's done, it seems like everything should be set in place. So now, if we go back to GitHub, you can see right here, it even tells me Dave branch less than a minute ago. We refresh it and check out our branches. Boom, you can see right there. Index.html, because this is the only branch I've pushed that to. If we go to my branch, I don't have it because I haven't pushed to that branch, or I haven't even pushed the master just yet. So those changes are only in Dave branch for now. Cool. So now that I showed you how to make branches two different ways, one through GitHub and one through Visual Studio Code, let's go ahead and start setting up your organization Kanban. So if you go to the tab where it says projects, you can start and create a project. Cool. So from here, it's going to ask you, for a project name. Let's name this project 1. Set a description if you want. Cool. And then last but not least, the most important step is when you create a template, you want an automated Kanban. Cool. So let's go over that once again. When you're here in your repo, usually you'll be in your code tab. Simply slide over to the projects. It'll ask you to create a project. From there, you'll be prompted to this screen. Well, you'll put your name, a description, and finally, template, automated Kanban. Okay, don't forget that. Cool, so now we're ready to create this. So from here, you'll be taken to this screen where this is where you're going to be keeping track of everything that needs to be done. So let me just go ahead and delete these. These are just kind of showing you how things work. And cool. So from here, this is when you can start adding all your needed things for your project. So to-dos, in progress, and done. Cool. So let's say I need to create index.html, add that. Let's add another one, make a JavaScript file, add that, and actually let's do another one. Create and add code to styles.css. Cool. So now that we have these, let's go ahead and start placing them. So Dave already created that index.html, so I can simply just drag and drop to the done portion, right? Cool. So now I could do another one. Let's say create and add code to style CSS. Let's say I'm working on that part. I could simply just put it in the progress, and that way your whole team knows like exactly what needs to be done just by looking at this. So let's say I don't know exactly what's going on. I might have been sick one day. I don't know. It's a brand new day. I don't know where my team is at. Super helpful because you can simply just go back to your projects, into your project, and see what needs to be done. Cool. So let's say I start working right now and I'm like, oh, well, I don't need to create an index.html because it's already done. Or, oh, okay, I remember I was working on style CSS and I didn't finish. So that's something I could work on because it's in the in progress tab. And let's say I finished that. Cool, I don't know what to do next. Oh, I see right here we still need to make a JavaScript file. And since no one's moved it into the in process, I can safely assume that nobody's worked on it, right? So I could be like, oh, okay, let me get started on that. Boom, in progress. Now, if you have any more tasks over here, when your teammates get done with theirs, they simply can see what still needs to be done, what's in progress, and what is done. Cool. So now, another way to add stuff here is by creating issues. So, in the Issues tab, you simply just create a new issue, title it whatever you need. Let's say Get API keys, right? Because we're all going to need some APIs. After you do that, you submit your new issue. And now, we can go back to projects. And, oh, forgot one thing. From here, you can even assign it to somebody. Boom. So I don't have anybody here because Dave hasn't accepted my invitation. So I'll assign it to myself. Cool. And from here, if you say you want to add it to your Kanban right here, simply just go to the Projects tab and you can go down here, add it to Project 1 Kanban. Cool, cool, cool. Super chill. So now you can go back to your projects, into your Kanban, and you can see it right here. Get API keys. Opened by me, and I assigned it to myself. Cool. So from here, you can always just, like the other ones, put it in the in progress. When you're done, done. Cool. I haven't started on this, so I'm gonna put it in the to-dos. I still need to do that. Finally, one last thing is you're not just limited to these 3 tabs. You could also add another column. One column we like to add is Icebox, right? Icebox just means, you have your MVP working and you have some extra time. You want to add some extra stuff, pizzazz it a little bit. So, like, make front end use materialize, right? Because let's say I use Bootstrap, but then I have extra time and I want to make this jazzy. I can simply just move that into my Icebox, and then we know once we get all our to-dos done, we can start working on this. Switch it into in progress, done, bam, all good. Cool, so I think that's about it. I gave you the rundown on how to make branches simply through GitHub right here. Branch dash Paul. Cool, that's one way to make a branch. Another way is simply going to Visual Studio Code. On the left hand side, lower left hand side, I can see all my branches that are made, or I can create a new one. Let's name this branch slash Pornima. Pornima. Boom, sorry. Cool, that's another way of creating branches. I also showed you how to set up your Kanban just simply by creating new project, project name, clicking the automated Kanban template. I've also shown you how to create your little to-dos right here, as well as how to create an issue and how to add that issue to your Kanban so that you could assign it to a specific somebody in your group. Cool, so I'm going to make a recording now on whatever needs to be left.